New at 9, Missouri Democrats criticized Governor Mike Kehoe for not doing more to help those losing food stamps. Food stamps will not be paid out to more than 600,000 Missourians for the month of November. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe did release $15 million from the state's coffers to help senior programs and food banks, but that's a drop in the bucket. The tab is more than $130 million to fund Missouri's SNAP program. Missouri Democrats are now saying the governor should demand help from the federal government.
When the president calls Governor Kehoe and requests that we redraw our congressional lines or requests that we do certain things, and the governor is always very quick to jump in line and to do whatever the governor or what the president asks, I think my frustration is that that phone doesn't seem to work both directions.
A representative from Feeding Missouri tells us it will need support from the community to get through a food stamp freeze.